Israel and Hamas have yet to agree on the list of those released on the last day of the temporary truce. Spain holds the 8th Regional Forum for the Union of the Mediterranean, which brings together more than 40 countries of the Euro-Mediterranean region to discuss the war in Gaza. And in Panama, the Canadian company First Quantum Minerals began proceedings for possible lawsuits against the Central American nation. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Israel and the Palestinian resistance have expressed concern over the latest list of Israeli hostages and Palestinian hostages to be released today. Regional media claim that Qatar has taken the lead in reviewing the list to resolve the problems that have arisen and to avoid delays. It was initially reported that Israel had proposed to the Palestinian resistance to increase the quotas of those to be released. Tel Aviv's proposal was to accept an extra day's rest for every 10 hostages released, and to commit to tripling the number of releases of Palestinians held hostages in its prisons. The negotiating teams are also working to extend the truce. Thousands of Palestinians who fled their homes in the north and moved south seeking shelter from Israeli bombardment are living in inhumane and deplorable conditions, many braving low temperatures and heavy rains. For more details, our correspondent in the Gaza Strip, Nur Harasin, reports directly to us.
It is winter and it is raining, and this is how Palestinians are living through this winter. This is the actual condition of thousands of Palestinians, actually hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who are displaced and who have fled their homes in northern Gaza to here, southern Gaza. They are living inside the hospitals and inside the schools in these nylon tents. During the rain, they have to evacuate inside the buildings of the schools or hospitals, and then they come back to clean up and continue living in this tent. They are literally displaced because in the upcoming days, and if there's more storms here in Gaza and heavy rain, they will have to evacuate their tents. But where to go? This is a very important question, and it is not only people are not only asking this question during this Israeli operation, but also what will happen at the end of this war. We are talking about people who have lost their homes. Most of their homes were destroyed. Me personally, my home was destroyed. Where will these people, where will we go and live? As we all know, the reconstruction efforts in Gaza are so slow. Right now, while we are in 2023, still there is homes that were destroyed back in 2014 was not rebuilt yet. So these are very important questions that people are asking. However, at the same time, they are enjoying the last day of this truce. They are hopeful that this truce will be renewed. However, nothing until the moment, no news about renewing or extending this truce. Nur Harazin, TeleSUR, Gaza.
A United Nations report shows that Israel violates the aid clause during the humanitarian truce agreement, since according to the international organization, only 268 trucks carrying aid had entered Gaza Strip out of the 600 agreed upon. According to the figures provided by the United Nations control, only 61 trucks with humanitarian aid entered daily, and not the 200 agreed, representing a quarter of the expected assistance. The mayor of Gaza confirmed this Sunday to the Qatari channel Al Jazeera that not a single liter of fuel has entered the zone. On the other hand, the member of the Hamas Politburo, Osama Hamdan, detailed that the number of trucks with humanitarian aid that has arrived in the north is less than half of what the agreement stipulates. The United Nations Agency for Displaced Persons in Palestine warned that 80% of the population of Gaza has been displaced since the start of hostilities on October 7th. According to the United Nations office, more than 1.7 million people have been displaced inside Gaza due to the Israeli siege. According to the agency, more than 1 million of these internally displaced persons are sheltered in 156 UN facilities throughout Gaza. UN experts warn that these people are suffering from overcrowded conditions and lack of water, which have worsened respiratory, skin, and stomach diseases. During the truce between Israel and Hamas, the United Nations Refugee Organization Agency for Palestine Refugees conducts recreational activities for children. According to a representative of the United Nations organization, these Sunday recreational activities were carried out in the UN schools in the cities of Khan Yunis and Rafah. This due to the forced displacement of Palestinian citizens, mainly children, to the center, south, and east of the Gaza Strip. The initiative seeks to alleviate the affective and psychological consequences of the attacks perpetrated by Israel against populated areas, forced displacement, and overcrowded conditions in the shelters in Gaza.
We are initiating a series of recreational activities for the children in the schools located in Khan Yunis and Rafah. These are children who have been displaced from the north to the south and from the east of Khan Yunis to the center of the Khan Yunis district. Where there are several shelters, we aim at alleviating the psychological consequences of the conflict on these children, many of whom come from homes that have been destroyed and attacked, and some of them were wounded during the Israeli aggression. This is already the third day of the truce, and God willing, it may be extended, so that we may be able to relieve the emotional suffering of these children.
On Monday, Spain hosts the 8th Regional Forum of the Union for the Mediterranean, which brings together more than 40 countries of the region to address the war in Gaza. Israel declined to attend the meeting. European Union foreign ministers will discuss strategies to deal with the humanitarian catastrophe and design a roadmap for the future of the Strip and the whole of Palestine. The forum promotes cooperation between the countries of the European Union and the southern shore of the Mediterranean. Its opening is marked by the controversy arising from the Zionist government's accusations against the president of the Spanish government, who condemned the indiscriminate massacre of women and children in Gaza, which Tel Aviv described as support for terrorism. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the South. According to the Global Peace Index, Haiti features among the 34 most dangerous countries in the world. In 2023, Haiti has recorded the second largest deterioration of peacefulness, dropping 17th places, ranking 119th, 29th out of 163 countries. This according to the 17th annual report published by the Institute for Economics and Peace, headquartered in Sydney. This is the lowest ranking Haiti has had since its inception in 2008. Internal security in Haiti significantly worsened over the past year, with increased violent crimes, political instability, and political terror since the assassination of the previous president, Jovenel Moïse. Haiti entered a crisis of insecurity, with criminal gangs controlling over half the country, forcing thousands from their homes. While Panama experiences the largest mobilization in recent years, the Canadian company First Quantum Minerals began proceedings for possible lawsuits against the Central American nation, pending the ruling of the Panamanian justice system. The Ministry of Commerce confirmed that the Canadian company and its subsidiary, Minera Panama, sent 2 notices of possible legal action. The proceedings will be brought before the International Center for the Settlement of Investment Disputes under the Panama-Canada Free Trade Agreement. The government has limited itself to replying that it has complied with all its obligations, while thousands of citizens on the streets demand the total repeal of the mining agreement in defense of the future of the country. Venezuela hosts the 6th Central American and Caribbean School Sports Games. Over 2,000 athletes between the ages of 15 and 17 take part in the competition. The Games will run until November 30th. The sporting event features 10 countries whose athletes compete in 12 disciplines such as swimming, table tennis, volleyball, boxing, taekwondo, basketball, karate, track and field, chess, and weightlifting. In Venezuela, Rodwell Ferguson, Transport and Sports Minister of Belize, congratulated the nation's authorities for the excellent organization of the Central American and Caribbean School Games and wished all the delegations success representing their country.
First of all, I'd like to thank my associate, Leonardo, and the other Leonardo for doing an excellent job. And likewise, the Minister of Sports, I know him since Colombia. I was in Colombia this year, and they are very welcoming. I appreciate the stay. I hope I can come back another day. Well, not only the Caribbean, the entire region, and I want to tell them to do extremely well, and they are representing their country, and so they must make sure when they go back they can take a medal.
Belize's Transport and Sports Minister praised the nation's small delegation and said they were getting ready to take part in the Paris 2024 Olympic Games.
Okay, we are a very small country with 400,000 people. We were only able to bring 5 athletes, 3 males and 2 females. Yeah, we always participate, but unfortunately we cannot send as many because of limitations. We are definitely going to participate, especially in athletics.
In Bolivia, according to the Civil Defense Deputy Minister, Juan Carlos Calvi-Montes, all the latest wildfires have finally been extinguished. In this way, the streak of fires has ended, but firefighter teams remain on alert. International support forces continue to arrive in the country, the latest being 40 French firefighters who arrived on Saturday, who will work in cooling the affected areas to prevent any fire from reactivating itself. After announcing that there are no more ongoing wildfires in the country, the Civil Defense Deputy Minister said that now they are getting ready to counter the effects of the heavy rains that will hit the country in the coming days.
First, to say that since yesterday afternoon there is not a single ongoing fire in the entire territory of Bolivia. We have 0 fires. Second, to share with you that from now on our joint command is on full geared because due to an official weather forecast of heavy rains, an orange alert has been issued for 5 departments.
In Uruguay, in the northwest region, over 3,000 people have been displaced from their homes due to the flooding caused by the overflow of the Uruguay River. The National Emergency System released this figure over the weekend. According to the National Water Department of the Ministry of Environment, the river flooding will intensify. The departments most affected are Artigas, Paysandú, and Santo, located in the north and northwest of the country. The National Emergency System warned that the present weather situation is expected to continue over the next few days. Somalia updated the death toll caused by heavy rains in the region of East Africa to 96. Meanwhile, the number of displaced affected by floods has already exceeded 700,000. Mahamoud Moalim, head of Somalia's Disaster Management Agency, said the rains have triggered a series of floods across the country, a fact that further aggravates the humanitarian crisis hitting several countries in the Horn of Africa. Kenya, the neighboring country, is also being severely affected with at least 76 deaths recorded, according to the Red Crescent. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back from the south. Spanish police seized 600 kilos of cocaine hidden in a container in Valencia and have made 8 arrests in connection with the haul. Spokesperson for the Civil Guard said the operation was part of the international project Global Drug International Network, led by the local force and funded by the European Commission. The aim of the project is to dismantle global criminal organizations through international cooperation and the exchange of information between participating countries. Police said investigators were tipped off by Central American sources about a large quantity of drugs hidden inside a container being shipped to Valencia. Moreover, more than 4,000 euros in cash and a firearm were reportedly seized from the detainees.
The Civil Guard in the Operation Tedio has seized 600 kilos of cocaine found in a container in the town of Quart de Poblet in Valencia. They have also arrested 8 people belonging to a criminal organization involved in international drug trafficking. The raid is part of the international project Global Drug International Network, led by the Civil Guard and funded by the European Commission.
In Greece, a cargo ship flying the flag of Comoros was shipwrecked on Sunday with 14 people on board southwest of the island of Lesbos. According to the Greek Coast Guard, the ship wrecked about 4.5 miles off the island of Lesbos. At the moment, only 1 passenger could be rescued in time by Navy helicopters, while the remaining 13 are still missing. The cargo ship was carrying salt and sailed from Egypt to Istanbul. The authorities reported that 5 Coast Guard vessels and 2 helicopters are deployed in search of the missing. Massive Ukrainian drone attack on several Russian provinces left at least 1 person injured on Sunday. The country's air defense forces destroyed 11 unmanned aerial vehicles over the territory of Moscow, Tula, Kaluga, and Bryansk provinces. For his part, the governor of Tula province, Alexei Yumin, reported that one of the 2 devices shot down in the area lost control and crashed into an apartment block, causing a cut wound to a resident. Yumin said that the victim received medical assistance from the emergency services and repairs to the affected apartments will be carried out in the next few days. And as part of these attacks on Saturday, part of the territory of Donetsk was left without electricity as a result of massive Ukrainian attacks. The head of the Russian Republic, Denis Pushilin, reported that the massive drone attacks had damaged the region's electricity system and said that despite the difficult situation, electricity engineers have already restored power in several settlements and are continuing to work to restore full power supply. The government of Sierra Leone announced that a military armory in the nation's capital, Freetown, came under attack on Sunday and has imposed an immediate national curfew. The announcement continued to say that the action's perpetrators had been repelled, but the public was asked to stay at home. According to witnesses, gunshots and explosions were heard in the city's Wilberforce district, where the armory as well as a number of embassies are located. On the other hand, other witnesses say they heard exchanges of fire near a barrack in Murray Town district, home to the Navy, as well as outside another military site in Freetown. So far, no details have been given on the alleged perpetrators of the attack or their motives. Sierra Leone, an English-speaking country in West Africa, has been going through a political crisis following presidential and general elections in June this year. Chad began campaigning Saturday for a vote on a new constitution in a perceived test of legitimacy for the ruling junta and the Itno dynasty's 30-year reign. More than 8.3 million people in the vast but poor Sahel country are called on to vote in a referendum slated for December 17th in a key step towards the elections and establishing civilian rule. Transitional President General Mahamat Idris Deby Itno, whose junta has governed since 2021, had promised to hand power to civilians and hold elections this year before postponing them to 2024.
This dialogue, whose achievements and recommendations have enabled us to draw up this draft constitution, will be submitted to the Syrian people for their approval on 17 December. For 21 days, starting today, our coalition is in battle order to convince all Syrian citizens of the importance of this draft constitution, which enshrines the unitary state.
On Saturday, Congolese Nobel Peace Prize laureate Dr. Denis Mukwege kicked off his presidential campaign for next December 20th elections. He has promised to tackle corruption and the violent conflict ravaging communities east of the country. At a rally in Bukavu city in the eastern South Kivu province, the 68-year-old renowned physician also vowed to end famine in Congo, which is a richly endowed but impoverished country battling high rates of poverty and starvation. In 2018, Mukwege was named joint winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for his work supporting victims of sexual abuse during military conflicts in Congo through the Panzi hospital he founded. He is known for his years-long activism, surviving an assassination attempt in 2012 and facing death threats. We have come to the end of this news brief, but before saying goodbye, we want to thank our Caribbean audience, especially the audience from Trinidad and Tobago. We are pleased to share our newscasts and contribute to provide an alternative news source of the latest world events. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our social media on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.